Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, just plug in the monitor. 2 types of ticket writers. The problem you fixed is here again. Crazy IT boss, let's install Sage Line 100 with no experience. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Just plug in the monitor. So about 2 months ago, we had a customer order 2 desktop PCs with 2 new in-the-box monitors. We are a managed IT company, so typically we assist with installing security software, joining to the domain, installing basic applications, push policies, and such prior to delivering the machines. The customer has some specialized software that they request they install/manage from their end, but they wanted me to set up the rest of the software for them. I did so and scheduled a time to drop off the equipment. The customer is an hour away, so we wanted to plan everything ahead of time. We were very specific on what was to be done. The plan was that I would drop off the equipment, they would plug in the hardware and install their applications, and then the employee needing the desktops would log into them, test they were set up correctly, and then box them up and take them home. Long story short, it took us just a couple of days to configure the devices and have them ready to deliver. This customer was very slow at responding, so it took about a week from the time they were ready to confirm they could be brought in. Eventually, I was able to drop off the desktops at their site in the main lobby and let staff know they were ready, but it was still another 2 weeks until they actually tried to hook them up and install their software. This is where the fun begins. So the point of contact I had for these desktops was not tech-savvy and decided to have one of their admin assistants, let's call her Becky, who is also not at all tech-savvy, be tasked with setting up the desktops. The guy who installs their software, let's call him Joe, is usually out on the road, so he is not able to log in and do their installs until the desktops are hooked up and ready for him. Well, Becky tried to set up the desktops, but was adamant that they could not connect the desktops to the monitors because they needed HDMI cables. The desktops use DP cables and not HDMI. I let Becky know that the monitors that came with the desktops have DP cables included with them, and that she would just need to connect the DP cables that came with the monitors into the back of the desktops, and they should work. She just needs to match the shape of the cables with the shape of the holes. I actually opened up the monitors ahead of time to confirm this prior to delivering them. I hear nothing for another few days after several attempts to call and email them. Eventually Becky tells me that she ordered HDMI cables from Amazon, and they would arrive in a few days. I repeated that she does not need to order separate cables, that the monitors come with the correct cables. About a week later Becky emails me with her manager copied and she sends me photos of HDMI cables in front of the back of the DP ports on the back of the desktop and says these HDMI cables we ordered do not work. We need to connect these desktops. I repeated to her and her manager that as stated previously, the monitors that came with the desktops are new in the box and contain the correct cables, she should not have needed to purchase HDMI cables. The monitors came with an HDMI, DP, and VGA cable in the box. All she needs to do is match the shape of the DP cable in the box with the shape of the DP port in the back of the monitor and then plug it into the desktop. Her manager then chimes in stating at this point, "We need someone to come on site from your team and help us out with this. I don't want to waste any more of Becky's time on this project." Keep in mind it's been about a month now that they've had these desktops, and in over a month they could not connect the monitors to these desktops and were not responding to my follow-up calls. Part of me is amazed by how difficult they are making this setup, but the other part of me wants to be a good tech and assist as they need assistance. So I'm taking another trip out there an hour each way to connect a desktop to a monitor. It will take me all of 5 minutes to plug the cable into the desktop. We still need Joe to set up the software on these devices, so aside from plugging in the monitors there is nothing else I am able to do at this time. It's just amazing that with how many people work at their office, at least a dozen people are there at any given time, nobody is able to figure out how to connect a monitor and poor Becky has to try and figure it out. 2 types of ticket writers. Me, alright, Beth, give it about an hour and SCCM will give you an install through the software center. It might take longer since you live in nowhere Kentucky, but just be patient. Just send me an email if you don't see it. -5 minutes later the ticket queue chimes, dash. Ticket from Beth. Subject, I don't see that install yet. I take the ticket dash. Cancel the ticket and respond through the active ticket telling the user that it's been 5 minutes, not an hour or longer. -5 minutes later, dash. Ticket from Beth. Subject, I don't see that install yet. I take the ticket and cancel it, dash. -45 minutes later, dash. Ticket from Beth. Subject, I don't see that install yet. I call Beth. Sometimes the install comes early and I want to check to see that she's not just missing it. The install isn't there. I push the install again and ask her to wait at least 30 minutes, dash. -25 minutes later, dash. Ticket from Beth. Subject, I don't see that install yet. Ticket cancelled with the message, Beth, stop creating tickets to ask for updates, dash. -5 minutes later, dash. Ticket from Beth. Subject, sorry. 2. Voicemail message, hey, I can't log into this system. Help. Ticket created, call should be sub 5 minutes as the system in question is rather easy to fix login issues. The login issue is fixed and the ticket is closed in that 5-minute timeframe, dash. Me, anything else I can help you with? User, well yeah, I'm also having issues with my Windows background. Me, that's just TeamViewer blanking it out, so I wouldn't know if I fixed it or not. User, can you take a look? Me, sure. Fiddle with the settings that change nothing because TeamViewer is actively blocking the background, dash. Me, it's probably fixed. Anything else I can help with? User, well yeah, my printer stopped working about 6 months ago. Been meaning to call in for it. Me, 6 months? How have you been getting stuff printed? User, sending emails to my subcontractor. Me, you've been sending medical information to an unencrypted email? Subcontractors are hired by the user and not the company. They're supposed to be little more than a secretary, but everyone commits HIPAA violations with their subcontractors. User. No. New ticket to security dash. Fix the printer inside 5 minutes, dash. Me, is there anything else I can help you with? User, well, yeah. I haven't been able to do insurance thing he gets paid to do in like 4 weeks. Can you look at that? Me, sure. Much trickier fix, takes almost half an hour, dash. Me, is there anything else? User, well yeah, actually. Me, what is it? User, well the internet is broken. Me, we're connected through TeamViewer. That requires the internet. User, but it says secured not connected. Me, the VPN always does that. You're connected. I'm on your computer. I just did a Google search for your printer drivers. You're connected. User, okay. Me, have a nice day. User, wait, there's more. The problem you fixed is here again. January 29th, last year. 3:30 p.m. Yo rslash, there's a problem with the calculation result. It's Wallace, a business analyst. We're in the middle of updating a client's software, and there's a monthly program that they want an entire overhaul to fix the current bugs and add more features in one go, and I was responsible to write it in an arcane magic language only I understand. As they say, in the land of RPGIII, the guy with SQLRPGLE is a hermit, IBM's recommendations notwithstanding. Specifications were agreed upon by all parties, with various managers involved, and extensive testing. The program in question has already been in production for the past 3 months, so I was pretty sure it's not on my end. What? Was the formula wrong? Well, no, but due to the changes of how another part works, there's a quirk with how it handles January. Huh. Just make a special case for January. Easy enough. All I had to do was make a couple tweaks, but the calculation needs to be done tonight, and news broke at 3:30 p.m. Between starting to work on it, testing, and the client doing their own testing, this month's numbers will be wrong. Emails were dug up about client's approval of the formula, and the client decided they'll just manually calculate the number and adjust the result. No matter, at least next year it won't be a problem anymore. Wallace and I exchanged a chuckle at the expense of upper manglement and bureaucracy. Whatever, problem solved. After that, a couple of new features were added, just business as usual. January 29th this year. 9:10 a.m. Yo rslash, there's a problem with the calculation result. Randy, my manager, called on Microsoft Teams. Seems to be a big problem. So what's the problem? There's an issue with January's results, it's wildly different from December's. Which databases are relevant for debugging? As I listed the databases required, I had a pang of familiarity, though not déjà vu. Didn't we used to have this problem? Dunno, but we need to fix the number by tonight. The compliance supervisor has been called in. Compliance? What does compliance have to do with this? Client notified Mr. Grizzly 2 days ago, and got silent treatment. I just found out about this morning either. Fantastic. Sure enough, my phone rang. Compliance supervisor. rslash, we need to discuss your program ASAP. 10 a.m. or 1 p.m. I'd rather not face the supervisor without knowing what exactly is going on, so I picked 1 p.m., might as well gather some ammo first. She created a meeting appointment at 1 p.m., several names I usually only see in CC list when the figurative excrement makes contact with the proverbial aerial impeller is on the guest list. Shit, this is serious. A Teams group was created, consisting of me, Wallace, Randy, and Albert. Albert is a junior business analyst in charge of the client. He inherited this mess from Shane, who quit 5 months ago, and didn't bring Albert up to speed on everything. The fact that he was denied his promised pay raise may have had something to do with it, but that's not really my business. Alright rslash, Albert, refresh me on this program, I had forgotten about it. Wallace sounded unhappy. He's Grizzly's underlings, and Grizzly has a reputation of throwing his underlings under the bus. He needs to get to the bottom of this before he finds himself at the bottom. Okay, well, first things first, check if the schedule data is there. What schedule? Ha! The schedule. You know, for override? Whatever, humor me for a moment. The database name is Count Schedule, check it for me. The database isn't here. What? Don't be ridiculous, it should be there. They asked for that feature 5 months ago. It's not there. Whatever, just assume it's empty. Will the program still work? Well, yeah, sure, pull down the data and we'll take a look. Gimme a second. Wallace connected to client servers and pulled down everything we needed. Here, have a look, tell me how you calculate these things. Albert stammered a bit. Well, the formula should be something like this. I took a look at our source code and confirmed it. Albert guided Wallace step by step, but at a certain point he did it wrong. No, that's not how you do it. I said you take this number, not that one. Wait, you take that one? Wallace sounded genuinely shocked. That's not how it worked. Wait, seriously? You are certain that this is my program we're talking about, right? I mean, this program was written from scratch, and this step never changed. Well, yes, your program's name is New Calc Program, right? That is indeed mine. No program with that name existed before I created it, as the client requested. So yeah, we're on the right track. But that doesn't seem right. I contacted Randy privately. Hey, you're sure this is about my program, right? That scheduler feature is 5 months old. No way in hell my program won't have it. You're sure this isn't the old program? Well, the program name matches. Yours is new and unique, so it can't be wrong. But you know what? Have Wallace check the program version, just to be sure. Just as I finished with Randy, Wallace sent a message. Hey, didn't we used to have a problem like this before? I'm pretty sure we did. Matter of fact, didn't you bring it up to me? I'm pretty sure I did. Humor me for a moment. Check the program version currently in production. Gimme a second. New Calc program version, November 19th, 2 years ago. What in the actual? rslash, what's the latest version of this program? December 19th, last year. For whatever F***king reason they never deployed the updated program. Ever. The client had consistently asked for more features, but they're never brought to production. The answer to why is the domain of the gods. My manager contacted compliance supervisor to make it clear this was not our fault. Supervisor canceled the meeting, but I was still stuck to the group anyway, because they needed me during the brainstorming and manually calculating the correct number for this year's January. Wallace assured me that this time they're going to deploy the update and this won't happen again next year. Heh. That's what he said last year. Crazy IT boss, let's install Sage Line 100 with no experience. About the late 1990s I worked for a small IT company in Ireland. The boss/owner was one of those crazy try-anything guys, who some said was a mad genius, but I reckon was just mad. Let's call him Derek. Derek had many years of IT experience. I have so many stories about crazy things Derek did, not wild crazy, but nutty/odd crazy. Here's one. One of his main clients was a local joinery/vinyl window company, who he convinced to spend thousands of euros on Sage Line 100. I could be wrong, but I think it was in the region of 100k euros. Still a lot of money for a business this size. The crazy part is that Derek had only ever installed and supported Sage Line 50 for small businesses, and Line 100 was a system for much larger companies. Let me clarify, Sage Line 100 was mainly a database system that needed a lot of configuration and setup by professionals/experts in that system. As an in-training computer tech, I knew nothing about it, neither did the college student, Helga, that I worked with. Nor did Derek himself. Also, no plan was devised on how this would all be implemented. So, Derek and us installed it on various computers throughout the company, with very little actually configured properly. And the intention was that it would be an all-inclusive system to track stock of parts, sales, accounts, etc. throughout the company. Knowing how much money was involved, and how much trouble this would cause to everyone working there, including us IT experts, idiots, who were supposed to know everything about it, I mentioned to Derek that this will not end well. Helga felt uneasy about it all too, but Derek always fumbled his way through, so he carried on as if it was no big deal. Several months passed and the system was not working well. Data was being entered by each department, but not connected to data in other departments. Reports from the system were not making sense. The Sage software had to be reinstalled multiple times, and the databases set up again and again. Nothing worked as expected. Many months into the whole debacle, I was fired, for completely different weird reasons. Totally different story, not my fault, and I didn't have any more to do with it. A year or more passes and I meet Helga for a coffee. She tells me the system is still a mess. Sage even sent their experts down from head office to configure it, and even that didn't help. At that point they were considering dumping the whole system, after spending so much money on it. Crazy stuff. Note, if my description of Sage Line 100 is not good, that's because I didn't know anything about it at the time, and have not used it since. I was a young IT tech learning my trade, so that system was much too complicated for me, without any actual training on it.